Welcome to this podcast. Today's topic is the trap meeting others' expectation. We will examine how our internal mechanism pushes us to meet the demands of others without us even realizing it. This unconscious force compels us to comply, as failure to do so triggers painful emotions. Our inner system thrives to shield our bodies from danger and ensure our safety at any cost. Yet, this mechanism, designed to protect us unconsciously, entangles us into a trap. Let's embark on this journey to uncover how this paradox unfolds. As a therapist, I often listen to my clients' struggles and help them find solutions. Recently, I had a couple of clients who expressed their frustrations about their spouses. One of them confided in me and said, I do everything for my husband the way he wants me to, and I expect him to understand my needs, but he hardly pays any attention to me. While another client shared, I expect some respect from my wife, but she takes me for granted. Expectations weaves through the fabric of our lives, extending to our spouses, children, colleagues, superiors, and the world around us. It's not confined to humans alone. We even demand that the item we possess, like our pens, smartphone, cars, meet our expectations. Before we proceed, let's define the term expectation. When asked, my client often described it as meeting someone else's demand, which is partly correct. However, expectations are primarily about achieving someone else's goal. It simply means you are achieving somebody else's goal, for which you might seek direct and indirect compensation, or it could be a compromise. Let me explain this concept through an example. Imagine a person feeling thirsty. Their desire is for a glass of water. As this desire emerges, it triggers a thought process, and the glass of water becomes their goal. When they ask for a glass of water to fulfill their desire, their goal is projected onto you. Now the responsibility is shifted to you to fulfill their desire, thus meeting the expectations. The completion of their desire is known as the fulfillment of others' expectation. You are essentially meeting another person's goal. Parents and family members have high hopes and expectations of their children, as they are the center of their dream and aspiration. As the child matures, the level of expectations also increases gradually, depending on their age. Naturally, the expectations from a toddler differ significantly from those of an adult who shoulders the responsibility of providing for the family. These expectations are directly proportional to the age of the child until a certain age. As the child grows, their parents' expectation changes. With each passing year, newer challenges and demands are placed on the child's shoulder. This could be tasks relating to schoolwork, keeping their rooms clean, respecting elders, and exhibiting proper behaviors. The child tries their best to meet these demands to feel secure and avoid negative emotions such as fear. For a moment, imagine a situation where a mother instructs her young son, Jimmy, to finish his school homework. The child enthusiastically completes the task and hands it to his mother. However, she disapproves, stating that he needs to work on his handwriting and tells him to write 2 pages to improve it. In this situation, the mother expects her child to complete his homework and also do it with good handwriting. In the previous podcast of mine, I discussed the idea that we are somebody else's goal. For example, Jimmy is his parents' goal, and his purpose has already been predefined. His mother ensures that he achieves her desired outcome, and his very existence depends on his parents' support. If he disobeys them, he may face disciplinary action and punishment, which means he must comply with their wishes. Whenever Jimmy encounters disapproval, he unconsciously experiences a subtle sense of fear. This triggers his survival mechanism and compels him to meet his parents' expectation. Even though there may not be any physical danger to his well being, the child still senses a feeling of insecurity. This sense of helplessness amplifies his existential crisis, leading to an internal tug of war. In the upcoming podcast, I will delve deeper into the topic of survival mechanism. If you are interested in learning more about the subject, I highly recommend checking out my book, Stop Surviving, Start Living with Freedom. As long as the child conforms to the authority and meets the expectations, seniors are pleased with them. The child feels secure and safe, for they feel accepted and valued. Failure to achieve the authority's expectation triggers fear of disapproval. The child experiences insecurity, which leads to an activation of the child's survival mechanism. Next time, to avoid discomfort, the child will work harder to please the seniors and gain their trust. Each year and every grade, the child has to perform, and the outcome matters. This process continues as we grow older. The more the expectations are delivered, the more we feel assured. What do you think? Do we have a choice, or are we mostly driven to meet the expectations of others? Or can I say we are pre-programmed to meet others' expectations? Let's take a look at an example of a potter we discussed in the previous podcast. Initially, his goal was to create a pot with a specific purpose, like carrying and storing water. The pot serves its purpose and meets expectation. However, over time, the purpose of the pot evolved, finding new uses such as storing food grains and growing plant sapling. As a result, the expectations of the pot also changes. This shows that expectations are not constant but keeps changing over time and others decide. It's like being hired as a computer programmer, but then you are expected to attend sales meeting and make presentations. That was not part of the original agreement, and you feel the need to comply. Refusal could endanger your future growth prospect in the organization. You're operating out of fear, thus compliance with others' expectations leads to a trap. It leads to catch-22 situation. As adults, if you don't express your grievances, the issues continues until you feel frustrated and angry and decide to quit the job. If you convey your message, the results could vary. Most of my clients say they feel indebted to their parents because they have given birth to them. They have also made sacrifices while raising them and educating them. Some clients even shared how their parents reminded them of the pain and hardship they underwent for their sake. This could make them feel guilty and compel them to fulfill their parents' wishes. When we are under much psychological pressure, it can be too much for our system to handle. This can lead to feeling trapped and indecisive. Even if the weight is invisible, it can still significantly impact our system. To help you understand how expectations affects our minds and bodies, let me explain in more detail. I will share a case study with you. Some time ago, received a distress call from a man who expressed wanting to commit suicide. I scheduled an emergency session with him. Amit, name changed, worked in Mumbai and stayed in a bachelor's accommodation. However, he grew up in a village living in a two-room shelter topped with thatched roof made of palm tree leaves. In his village, his mother wanted to build a decent home, and Amit was entrusted with the responsibility of raising the funds. The initial estimated cost was rupees 500,000, which fitted his budget. Soon the cost increased, doubling to 1 million, for which he had to take a loan. After 3 years, Amit's mother requested him to contribute another 500,000 so that she could construct 2 additional rooms, for they were 2 brothers. Even though he was hardly residing in his village, he had to borrow an additional loan to fulfill her expectations. Unfortunately, things did not go as planned, as he was burdened with more responsibilities. To salvage the family's reputation, his mother demanded that he assist his brother in repaying the loan of his car. The vicious circle seems never ending to Amit. Lately, Amit's mother, with good intention, wanted him to marry a girl she had personally chosen. Amit was under tremendous pressure, with his shoulders burdened to repay the financial debts, and now the prospect of starting a family was beyond his imagination, making him uncomfortable and trapped. The weight of his stressful situation was unbearable, pushing Amit to do something unthinkable to escape from his troubles. He contemplated ending his life, engineered to appear as an accident, hoping that his family would receive financial compensation out of it. Even on his death, he wants the benefit to go to his mother. You might initially assume that his debt were purely financial, but the reality was far more complex. Amit's indebtedness stemmed from a deep sense of incompleteness towards his creators, recognizing his mother's role in giving him life and bearing hardship for his sake. This emotional debt compelled him to comply with her demands. This intangible debt led him into a seemingly endless financial trap. One form of indebtedness gave birth to another, spiraling him deeper into a stress. Desperate to overcome his indebtedness, Amit became entangled in a financial vicious circle and is now contemplating a premature exit through suicide. What made Amit always praise his mother and his inability to say no? Let's understand this by understanding Amit's personality type a little deeper. Amit is the firstborn, a wanted child in the family, and unknowingly lots of expectations are placed on him. The crown of responsibility placed on his head comes with a status. To understand the concept of a wanted child and its survival traits, I recommend you read my book, Stop Surviving, Start Living with Freedom. Amit's parents had taken a lot of trouble to educate him. As he started earning, he started contributing financially to his parents. Being the eldest in the family, he felt responsible for fulfilling the expectations of his mother. Directly or indirectly, the family had made him aware of his future responsibility since he was a young boy. Our survival mechanism compels us to behave and act in a specific way to safeguard our existence. Amit is their goal with the inbuilt purpose to uplift them from poverty and hardship. The fact that he is a wanted child, the blueprints are already imbibed into him. It is beyond his awareness, and he must keep up with their expectation. One can ask, was Amit doing duty or simply fulfilling obligations? Amit believed he was fulfilling his duty to his mother by his contribution. However, he failed to realize that he was obliging by fulfilling her expectations and avoiding guilt. As time went on, the amount of stress piled up, and he found it increasingly difficult to meet his mother's demands. His current financial burden was weighing heavily on his shoulder and pushed him to the brink of making a premature exit. Amit was not being truthful about his financial loan status to his mother. He pretended to be a responsible and worthy son who could fulfill her expectation. Even though stress kept piling up, Amit kept on fulfilling his mother's dreams. He was scared to put across his issues to his mother because he felt he would be unworthy in her eyes, which is a survival trap. He was carefully guarding his self-image from getting tarnished. To learn more about self-image, you can read my book, The Self Decoded. Recognizing his mother's role in giving him life and bearing difficulties raising him, Amit felt indebted. His emotions compelled him to comply with her expectations and repay debts. The act of repayment to his creators is returning favors received. Therefore, their relationship is a transactional one. His mother also reminds him, directly and indirectly, of the act she did for him. Thus, she also expects him to return the favors. If he does not do so and negates her demands, then his internal survival mechanism will trigger guilt, which he wants to avoid at all costs. It's a catch-22 situation for him. Amit being their goal and his purpose predefined, unconsciously his mechanism must comply with the expectation. Every one of us is a victim of this survival mechanism functioning within us beyond our awareness. Amit failed to set healthy limits or boundaries and was driven solely by his survival mechanism of proving to be a worthy son. Now he feels extremely tense as he is cornered on all sides. Firstly, you need to be aware of this mechanism and its working. Then you can set healthy boundaries. It is easy for us to discard things that don't meet our expectation, but parents don't do the same with their children. Instead, they show disapproval. For a child, disapproval sends the message that they fell short and aren't accepted. This feeling can be an existential threat to them, making them avoid disappointing their parents at all costs. They comply to avoid feeling the negative emotion that come with the fear of rejection. Essentially, the child is struggling with the pain of potentially being disowned by their parents, who hold tremendous power over the young child. Similarly, children go to school with the aim of meeting the expectations of their parents and teachers and demonstrating their competency. To achieve this, they must complete their assignment, attain certain learning goals, and maintain good behaviors. As long as they achieve these objectives, their interactions with the authority figures will be smooth. However, if they fail to meet their standards, the survival mechanism kicks in. As children mature into adults, this ingrained behavior pattern often persists, unknowingly influencing their thinking and actions. This unconscious pattern continues over into the workplace and even into our marriage. While the specific expression of these behaviors may vary based on survival mechanism types, but the underlying tendencies remain constant. As adults, they thrive to meet the expectations of their spouses, bosses, and family members by catering to their needs and fulfilling their demands. I'm not suggesting that you should not meet others' expectations, but as an individual, you must learn to communicate and set your boundaries. My main goal in this podcast series is to shed light on the ways we can get trapped in our lives and struggle to survive. Now that you have listened and comprehended how we are meeting others' expectation, it's time to reflect on how you have been fulfilling others' expectation. Additionally, it's worthwhile to examine if you are asking others to meet your expectations. When we are meeting others' expectations, are we doing it out of freedom? Or is it a transactional freedom, keeping our bodies alive? To listen to more podcasts and to watch YouTube videos, please feel free to visit my website at www.livingwithfreedom.com. I also have 2 books available for purchase on various platforms: Stop Surviving, Start Living with Freedom, and The Self-Decoded. The better you know who you are and the working of your internal mechanism, the more likely you will experience joy and peace. In the upcoming podcast, you will have an opportunity to learn something new and unique. In the meantime, I encourage you to look for opportunities to express gratitude for everything around you. See you next week.